complete that Redux part, and the example which we were going through, so we complete that today. And for the next 2 days, so as always it's a 5-day series. For the next 2 days we are going to see some cool examples. Okay, so let's get started, and let's start from where we have left. We have so let me share my screen. So what we have done, we have already, okay, so we have already built these things like the number of acts, the number of hooks, and there is a React Redux app which we have successful in creating the previous day. And we have also used added the root, added the reducers and the middlewares and Redux dev tools and all those things we have done. Okay, so let's get started. And what we are going to do today, we are going to first learn to add a payload to the action. And we are going to add a payload to action. So there is no payload right now. And then we are going to do that add additional props in map state to props and map dispatch to props. And additionally, we are also going to learn about Redux thunk, the famous interview questions. And it is still used today, but as I've told earlier also, it is not necessary to use Redux thunk. Like, okay, let me increase the font size also a bit so that it's much more easier on the mobile view. Okay, so that is there. So the first thing which we are going to do is the action payloads. Okay, so for action payloads, first let me come here. And I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new ag container .jsx. So we can do the, instead of JSX we can do JSX also. That's very cool thing about the React project is that. And it is actually exactly similar to the egg container, but there are something. Yeah, again we are going to use this map state prop, map dispatch to prop, because we should not forget this thing. In the old code you will always find this thing, as I have told in previous day, that we can use the hooks things also, but we should not forget this thing. These things will be there in the older code. If you are going to work in a big company, if you're going to work in an enterprise project, these things will be there. Okay, so we should not forget this thing. So what I'm going to do, okay, RAFCE, I'm going to do new add container. Okay, now all of this, let me copy some of these things, because it is almost same as the egg container. So that's why I'm copying this thing. And what else is same? Yeah, okay, that is done. Okay, both of these things are done. And connection we need to do, first thing is that I have to do it like this, then connect. So this is a higher order component, connect is there. So now what we're going to do, we're going to pass props. So to pass props, so let us add an input box also and have a state variable also with the use state, because we are using a functional based component. It's okay, you can use a class based component. That means Redux doesn't depend upon that. So the old code, the new code, very old code, the difference will be there, that it will be a class based component, although nothing else is different. So we are going to have a local state of also const number comma set number equal to use state of 1. Okay, then let me have this use state. So initial value is 1. We have this use state imported here. Now what we are going to have, number of x is okay. We're going to have an input box. So input of type text value equal to number, and on change we are going to have it here itself is e is set number is e dot target dot value, and the button on click is instead of this prop dot by x, what we are going to have, we are going to have this by x is okay, but we are going to pass some parameter to it. Okay, so we are going to pass the numbers. So what is this all about? So right now what is the thing is that we can buy only one x, so we want to buy any number of x which the user enters. So we are going to do that. So by what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass a parameter, and passing a parameter we have to change it to arrow function like this, and number I have to do like this, by number of egg is there, and then map state to prop, map dispatch to prop. Now we are going to pass, what we are going to pass, we are going to pass this number which is nothing but this local state. Okay, so we are going to pass this here, map dispatch to props, map dispatch to prop. So what does that mean? That means we have to update our egg action also, because right now what is happening in here, we are not having anything. So what we are going to have here, we are going to have a number, but we are going to have a default parameter of 1. So again we are using the default parameter of es6. So why we are having this default parameter of 1? See, a lot of old code means in this here, old code means in a container we are not passing anything here. So if you don't pass anything here in the by egg, so it will by default it will take the number as 1. So now we are going to have the payload function also. So payload is the number, so which we are just passing it. And so this is how default parameter is also used a lot. See, we're going to use a lot of es6 features. So this is another es6 features which we have just used. So now in the egg reducer it will be a bit different. So let me open the egg reducer. So egg reducer, what will happen, instead of deducting this one, I am doing, there is a action dot payload also. Now this is action dot payload, so we are going to reduce that action dot payload only action dot payload. Okay, nothing else is required. So let me save it, let me close this, let me go back to the app, and let me add my new egg container, save it, go back. Props is not defined. I know what is the issue. The props should be here. This is a redux props. Okay, there's a redux prop. Okay, so see, now this is coming. Okay, so let us see this thing now. By egg. Okay, so we should also check the older code whether it is okay or not. Okay, and buy chicken is okay. So buy one egg, it is written. Okay, so maybe I'll buy 34x. So see, this has also changed. Now I'll buy 34x and it is working fine. Let's buy 1 dozen egg, which is 12, working exactly fine. So it is working exactly fine. So this is how we pass the parameters. So now we'll look into an additional detail for map state to props. We have some additional detail also. So it has got a second parameter in the map state to prop, and which is known as your own props. So that own props thing we are going to do. So for that we are going to create a new component. Okay, the new component will be item container .jsx. Okay, so this fce react functional component here. This time I won't forget to pass the props. Okay, so that is there. And what else I need to do? Let me have this connect. Only we are going to see the map state to props. Okay, so this is there, h2 item is props dot item is there, props dot item is there. Then here we have to make it like this, connect, and map state to prop. I'm going to do map state to prop, and then const map state to prop equal to state. So state is there, okay, just like this. Let me open this also. So state is there, but we are going to have a second parameter also known as own props. Own props we are going to have. Now let me show what we are going to have. Const item state equal to own props dot ag, because we are doing in it ag only, although we have written it as item container. This is also ag container also. So own props of dot ag is there if it is ternary. If it is there, then state dot ag dot num. Soon we will see what I'm doing. Num of x, and or else state dot chicken dot num of chickens. So this is what we are doing, and return item is item state, and we close it. So I have closed it. So see what I have done. So if own props is there, own props or tag is there, then only then this will be like this. Num of x we are going to take. So this num of eggs we are going to take, or num of chickens we are going to take. So how to use that? So as you might have known, its own props will be a props. Okay, so let me save it. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add it here. Item container. So in its most basic form, so see item container in its most basic form. Let me go back and see. So item container is 9. What is 9? 9 is the number of chickens. 9 is the number of chickens. And now I'll pass the props, and the props is known as this own prop. So whatever I give the name of this prop, this is egg. So if I have this prop, so which is, I will give here egg, save it. So now item is 52. So this is whatever own props, another concept which we have there. So this is another concept. Okay, so now we are going to see this additional detail for what map dispatch to props. So we are going to see for that also, so how it is done in map dispatch to props. Okay, so let me have a import of by egg comma by chicken from not action from Redux. So Redux is a folder, so from that Redux I'm going to have, and then button will be there, and buy items, and in the button on click is this dot buy item. I'm going to have not this dot, this is props dot buy item, because we have to do it in a map dispatch to props. So now we are going to have this const map dispatch to props equal to dispatch and own props I'm going to have. Okay, so this dispatch to props is there, so we have to add it here also in the connect function, map dispatch to props. Now the same thing like the like here also what we did, we are going to have something like that only. So const dispatch fn equal to own props dot egg, same thing, own props dot egg, same thing will be there, own props dot egg. It is there, then what we are going to do, we are going to, if it is there, then dispatch by egg, or if else if it is not there, then dispatch the by chicken, as simple as that. And then we are going to have the return is like this, buy item is dispatch fn, which we have just created, and then we will close it. So it is like this, save it. So if I come back here, the buy, not but item, it is buy item, save it, buy item is there, 52. So right now see, this one is for chicken, buy it, chicken is done. This one is for egg, egg is done. So this is working fine. So this is about own props. So now what we are going to do, we are going to come to the last topic of Redux, which is the async action creator. So which is a very important interview question also, and it was used to we used to use it earlier in a lot of projects when we used to do the API calls from here. Nowadays we do, but not much. API calls are not generally done by here, but we are going to do it. Okay, and the concept is exactly similar to what we have done in the Redux app, but that so right in the React Redux app, everything is different. Everything we have created in different files, and this is how production applications are. So now let me create a, first thing first, we are going to create a user container.jsx, user container.jsx I'll do, and RAFCE, I'm going to do user container users, and this. Now in the Redux folder, just like we have chicken and egg, we are going to have a user folder also. Okay, and again it will have a user types dot js, and in the user types we are going to have export const fetch users request equal to fetch users request. Okay, the same thing which you're going to have here. Okay, and fetch user success is fetch user success, and fetch users failure is fetch users failure. So these three things we are going to have. Now the same, we are going to have this egg action, we are going to have a user action also. So let me come here and let me do the user action dot js yeah, it is right, users action dot js I have done. Now first thing, I have to import all these things. Import fetch users request, comma, fetch users success and fetch users failure from, not this thing, from the same thing like users types I'm going to have. And then what I'm going to have, a initial functions we are going to have, just like this egg action we are going to have functions, but as you know, we are going to have a third function also, so fourth function also soon. Okay, so export const fetch users request, fetch users request equal to like this, and we have to return the type is fetch users request, nothing else is there. Okay, and then similar to that we'll have export const fetch users success, is like this time we'll have here that users payload. So users payload we are going to have, and then we are going to have this return type is fetch user success, which we have used this here, and payload will be user. So similar to that, we are going to have a export const fetch users failure equal to error, and the return type will be like this, and payload will be error. Okay, like this we are going to have. So now we are going to, so this action is done. Okay, so let us make the reducer like this. Okay, reducers we are going to make. So user reducer dot js, user reducer dot js I'm going to do. And first thing first, I'm going to have the same thing here. So let me copy this. So this will come here also, and then the const initial state equal to like this, loading is false, users is an empty array because we are going to get it from your JSON placeholder, which gives us array of object. Okay, so that is there. Then const reducer equal to state dot initial state and action. Initial state and action is there, and now we are going to have this, and fetch users request is there, dot 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 state, loading is true, and here I will not do this. Fetch user success, I'll separate them all. So loading is false. So we have seen this earlier also. Users is action dot payload, and there will be an error. It will be like this. And similar to fetch users failure, the user loading will be false. Users, so we will have this in the same order always. So here it is okay to have the state like this, dot 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 state. Here also we can do it, but it's good to not to do it because only three things are there, and it is much more easier to understand. And users is like empty array, because in the case of failure users won't come, and return state is there. And okay, so export default reducer I'm going to do. So now this is there, and now in the, there is an action. For action there is a index is also there. I think we have that index. Okay, so yeah, this index is there. We are going to pass the actions, because then we can add it, use it directly. So like that, we were using it in the components like. Okay, so fetch users request, fetch users success, fetch users failures from dot users actions. Okay, all of these things are right. Let me check the spell one. Yeah, it is right. Save it. So this is done. Now we also have to add this in the root reducer. So where is the root reducer? Here is the root reducer, because we are having everything through the root reducer. So here I am going to do a comma, and user is equal to user reducer. User is equal to user reducer, and then import user reducer from user reducer is there like this, and it's okay, everything is okay. Save it. Okay, now it is done. Now the main thing is that it is not completely done. We have to install a middleware known as Redux Skills. So Redux Skills is very important. Redux Skills is important because with that only we can do the API call in a Redux environment, because API call are async, because it takes around 1 second, and the middleware are generally after the reducer and the actions. So it sort of holds that thing, and not, it doesn't stop it once the API call is done. So the program will run, but once the API call will run, it sort of gives the data to the reducer. Okay, so it is required. Without it you cannot do a API call. Okay, so now I told you I have to install two things. First thing is Axios. Also we are going to use Axios. We are not going to use fetch API. So git bash I'm going to do, and npmi Axios, and Redux thunk I'm going to do. Redux thunk I'm going to do. So this is a concept which is similar to what we did in the Redux app on day one. So exactly similar to that. Okay, so this is done. Now what we are going to do, we are going to do, go to the, it's okay, we are going to go to the store.js, and here import thunk from Redux thunk, and logger comma thunk. I am going to do, so this is like, because we have two middles, so after the logger I have given the thunk, and export default store I have done. So now one more thing is remaining, so that is a part of the puzzle actually which was remaining, and this we have done in Redux also. So what was remaining is that we will have another functions which will actually combine this all three functions, and then only we can use it. So we have seen this earlier also. So we have to do a import axios from, not this, from, we don't have anything like this, and from axios I'm going to import, and I'm going to have this new function. Okay, so new function I'm going to have export const fetch users equal to like this, and return dispatch, and inside this we are going to dispatch the fetch users request, fetch users request first. Okay, so let me again go through everything. Okay, so hello, thanks for attending. So okay, so this fetch users request is there. Okay, dispatch fetch users request is there. So when this fetch users request goes, so this will go here, and this is the action creator. So whenever this is done, this action creator will be called. And okay, let me explain it after I bind it to the user content. Okay, I will explain it after that. So this is there. Dispatch will be done to fetch users request in the action creator. After that we'll do the axios call to the users, and then the response will be there. So like this, I want to give the complete thing actually, so sometimes it gives me way too much. Okay, response.data, which is an array of object which we get, and then we'll pass the users, and in the case of error we can again, yeah, we can directly pass the error dot message. Okay, so this is like this. Just like this, we are having fetch user success and fetch user success. We are fetch user success, we are passing the this users array we are passing, and the fetch users failure we are passing the this. Okay, so this is done. So now the main thing is we have to do the user container. So that is the main thing. Okay, so let me come back here, and let us do the user container again. Okay, so let us do everything here, because this is totally different from everything which we have done till now. Import connect from React Redux, import fetch users from just the Redux I need, because I have an index file, so that's why I need only the Redux. Now what I am going to do, again we are going to use that connect thing. It's better to also learn the connect thing, because you are going to use that in a lot of places. Okay, so then map state to props and map dispatch to props we are going to have. Then after that, let us come here and const map state to props is a state, and okay, is a state, and return, it's anything we can take. Okay, here instead of users, let us make, this time we'll make it less confusing. Okay, so users also I can do, and there is nothing like users, there is user. I don't know, I have done that user, I think. Let me see once what I have done. Store, not a store, root reducer, we have to see. Yeah, user I have done. Okay, it's okay to keep it like this. Okay, user, and user, this time will not make it much confusing, so you will make it a user data. I could have make it user also, but I'll make it user data. And then what I have to do, this user data. So, and one more thing which I'll make it less confusing, props dot, instead of props dot user data, I'll actually destructure it here only. So I'll have this user data here. So, and so user data is something which we will get back, but we have to do the API call also. So how we will do the API call? So let us do that. We'll do the API call through use effect, but we are not going to use the JSON placeholder here. We are going to do a API call from some other place, and that is the action creator. Okay, so use effect, I'm going to do like this, and it will run only once, and it will call the this fetch users. It will call the fetch users. Okay, fetch users it will call. Okay, the fetch users it will call. Now let me come back here, and const map dispatch to props. Again we'll have a dispatch thing, and return, and then it will be having the fetch users, and it will call the dispatch fetch users. And fetch users, we know where is the fetch users. So what this fetch users, as I have told earlier, so this is okay, this fetch users is from here, and this will do not need to be open, this will go to, okay, it is okay. So what we need to do, so again we have made everything confusing. Okay, so this fetch users, I'm going to give it here fetch users, and so this fetch users is this one, and this dispatch fetch users is our action creator one, action creator fetch users. I don't know why it is not going, it's okay. So this is action creator fetch users. Okay, so we're given the same name, again a bit of confusing thing, but it's okay. So fetch users is there, so it is a props. So now we are going to show it. Okay, we are going to show it because we have got sort of got the data back from our API endpoint. So now we are going to show it. So for that, user data, we are going to get it back. So but we are going to get back a loading also, a loading also. Okay, so now it's time for me to explain the thing. Okay, so what is there, so we are not going to click any button or something like that. Okay, no, we are not going to do that. So the use effect is for that only. It will run like component did mount. So the moment the component did mount cut out, the moment this get loaded, this fetch users users will be called. So fetch users in the action creator. So here it will be called, and what will happen here in the dispatch, we have seen this earlier, fetch users request will be called. In the fetch users request, the fetch users type is fetch users request. So it will go to the user reducer. Here the fetch user request is there, so dot 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 state I'm doing, and loading is true. By default loading is false, so loading will be true. And this is a very good place to put the spinner when we have this loading state, and we are going to soon going to do that when we have this loading state, which is just before the API call, just before the API call, because we have not even done the API call. That is the power of Redux. Also it gives us very fine control over there. So after that only we are doing the API call. After that we are doing this API call to this users endpoint, and we all know what is in this users endpoint. So let me show also once. We'll solve that. It's okay. So users endpoint is like this, array of users is there. Okay, array of users is there, so that will come. Okay, so that users endpoint, then the API call is done and we get a array of users in response.data. Then that thing, whatever array of object, I'm passing it with the users to the fetch user success, which is of type fetch user success, and the payload is user. So as I've told earlier, now from here the user reducer is attached automatically or magically. So this will go here and go to the switch case, and the second one will run now, and loading will be made false and users will be action.payload. So it will be that array of object, which error is anyway, we didn't get any error, we can see that error thing also. So then what is this done, now my users is there. So users is nothing but, if I go to not a reducer, if I go to our root reducer, so user is a user reducer. So now what is happening, the user have a state known as users, user have a state known as users, and which is having this array of object. So now we are going to use it. So how we are going to use it, so as I was telling, that loading thing, I'm going to do this loading thing first, users data dot loading. So users data is nothing but our state, our global state, which is our state which is having that all those three things. So we are going to see in the Redux dev tool also. So I was getting some error here, index.js users.action is not there. Okay, yeah, I got it. There's no users.users action, there is user.user action. Okay, actually everything I have taken as a singular. Okay, now we don't have any problem. Okay, so here we have, so where I was, so user data dot loading is there. So user data will have all these three things, loading, then the array, then the error, all these three things it will have. So user data dot loading is there. Then I will have this ternary operator, and then this h2 loading is dot dot dot. So this, instead of this, you can show a spinner also. Okay, and if it is ternary operator is there, so we are using a bit of different ternary operator. If it is like if, else if okay, if it is there, then if it is true, no, user data dot loading is true, then it will be shown. Okay, and then what we are going to see, we are going to see the user data dot error. So we are checking in one statement whether it is true. So sometimes it might be there some API, some error is there, some network delay is there, or we can change the endpoint also, and I can show this thing. Okay, so if it is there, then what I'm going to do, if the error is there, I'm going to do h2, and it is user data dot error. And if error is not there, then finally it means that we got the array, and we can show the array. Okay, so like this we can show the array, and like this I will show h2 users list. Finally we are going to get the list, and then here just let have us one thing. Let me have it with maybe h4. Then again we can check it whether the user data is there or not. User data, it's always a good point to check it. Okay, user data, and then and operator will do, not this thing, and operator will do, and users data dot users. Why this users data dot users? Because this is the thing in which we will have this. So loading we have done, error we have done, now this users, which is a array of object. So users data dot users, and then we are checking whether the array is there or not, and then the enough of checking. So right now we will do it, and then we are going to do the map, and map user p, like users running. Okay, let me have a key also here. Key is equal to user.id, because maybe we are getting an id also here. Yeah, we are getting an id also, unique id we are getting. So like this I can do, let's save it. So saved it, And one more thing is there. I think we forgot that thing. Yeah, we forgot that thing. That is one of the reason the issue was coming actually. So we forgot to have this in the index also. Fetch users, okay? Because see, we are calling it from Redux only directly, and this index will be called here. Okay. So now we are okay. Now, okay. So this all number of chickens and all these things are there. So instead of this number of chickens and all these things, okay, why not show them also? After that, I will show this user. I know it is not related at all, but it's okay. This has been imported. Save it. Use effect is not defined. Yeah, use effect is not defined. You're right. We have to import the use effect from React. Save it. Now see, the user list is coming. Below the user list is coming. All the 10 users are coming. All the users list is coming fine. Okay, and as I've told, so this is the loading and the user. It is very fast, so it will not show. But if we have some error, so how to get an error? So let me do it like z. Okay, save it. So request failed with the status 404. So means it is working fine. And so we are again getting the user data. So with this means we have completed everything means in Redux, and we are just the thing which is remaining is some Redux project, so that we can understand this much better. And we are going to look into Redux project for the next 2 days. We are going to look into that, and stop the sharing. And this, as always, you have a certification program also. For that, you have to click on the link which is there in the description. There's a small fees for the certification. If you give that fees, then only you will get the certificate. And but there is a process for the certification also, and the process is like that. I will give you an assignment at the end of this week, and that assignment you have to complete in 1 week, and then only you'll get. And once you pay this thing, and you become a part of the community. And once you become a part of the community, every Friday we have a call, like a weekly call at 6:30, so you get access to that. Okay, so with this I will end today's stream. I'll see you again tomorrow, and we'll do some cool Redux project. Thank you.